Hi, today is Thursday, December 19th, 2025, right? Today is December 19th. Let's read some article about Chinese history. I am learning Chinese, but albeit at a slow speed. So I am interested in Chinese culture, and also I am a Korean, right? We are just next door neighbor to China, and we were invaded many times by China. So we are interested in Chinese history, right? Let's read this article to learn English. This article was written by Tim Lim Tin. I thought Tim Lin, Lim Tin, and the title is The Great Myth of China Never Having Invaded Other Countries. Nothing irks me more than to hear the persistent claim often repeated in public debate and even by renowned scholars such as Jeffrey Sachs of Columbia University that China has never invaded other countries and that there is nothing to fear from her unparalleled military buildup over the past 2 decades, and that she is a benign power. This assertion does not withstand serious historical scrutiny and should be rejected plainly and without equivocal, right? Equivocal. So this is good expression. This assertion does not stand historical scrutiny and should be rejected plainly and without equivocation. China's own imperial history tells a very different story. For more than 2,000 years, successive Chinese dynasties expanded their territory through military conquest, occupation, and coercion, just as other great powers have done throughout history. The Han Dynasty pushed Chinese armies deep into Central Asia, conquering the Tarim Basin and waging sustained offensive wars to secure strategic depth and trade routes. The Tang Dynasty rejected military power across much of Inner Asia. The Tang Dynasty projected military power across much of Inner Asia, subjugating Turkic states and repeatedly intervening by force in Korea and Vietnam. The Yuan One, we call it One, but in Chinese it's Yuan dynasty, launched a large-scale invasions across East and Southeast Asia, including Korea, Vietnam, and Burma. The Ming Dynasty occupied Vietnam for 2 decades following military conquest, while the Qing Dynasty, the most territorially expansive of all used force to absorb Xinjiang, Tibet, and Mongolia, effectively doubling the size of the Chinese state. These were not defensive actions. They were wars of expansion conducted to secure dominance of China's periphery. Okay. Some argue that these campaigns were softened by so-called tributary system. That too is a distortion. Tributary relations were not partnerships of equals. They were hierarchical arrangements enforced by the credible threat and frequent use of military force. States that resisted were punished. Those that complied did so under pressure. This was order imposed by power, not harmony achieved by consent. Those who promote the myth of China's historical exceptionalism ignore one of the most enduring insights of human experience. The great Greek historian Thucydides, who wrote the history of the Peloponnesian Wars, warned us that human nature does not change and that fear, interest, and power drive the behavior of states across all eras and cultures. Winston Churchill put it even more starkly when he observed that the story of the human race is war. China, like every civilization before it, is not exempt from these truths. We must be clear-eyed instead of viewing China through rose-tinted glasses. Power, when unchecked, has always sought expansion. That lesson is as relevant today as it was in antiquity. China's rise to become a powerful country was never peaceful. It is therefore pointless to pontificate whether her continued rise will be peaceful. What is a pontificate? Right? It can never be. If we ignore this simple truth and choose to be hypnotized by the smiling tiger mouthing multilateralism, we do so at our peril. At our peril. We do so at our peril. It is therefore pointless to pontificate whether her continued rise will be peaceful. It would be therefore pointless. It is therefore pointless to pontificate. In a subsequent post, I shall explain how China has continued with her hard-edged expansionism even in the 20th and 21st centuries. Okay? It is therefore pointless to pontificate whether her continued rise will be peaceful. Pontificate, right? So here's the map. GADM borders, great BC map, AD maps. So China, I live in Korea, right? So we were never part of China before. We are just, a tributary system. It was not equal relationship. So it is pointless to pontificate whether Chinese rise will continue to be peaceful. And what expressions I learned from this article? It's pontificate in pointless and what else? I forget, right? So let's go back and see what I stored to remember. It is therefore pointless to pontificate whether her rise will continue to be peaceful. This assertion does not withstand serious scrutiny and should be rejected plainly and without equivocation. This assertion does not withstand serious historical scrutiny and should be rejected plainly and without equivocation. Right? Well, that's it, but let's look up the word pontificate, right? Pontificate.
Pontificate.
Pontificate. Term of office of a pope, office of a bishop. Oh, pontificate. Verb, serve as a pope, behave pompously, act self-righteously. So it is a pope, pontification, right? Pontification. So it has the relation with pope. Pontificate is the form of government used in the Vatican City. The word came to English from French and simply means papacy, exactly, or to perform the functions of the pope or other high official in the church. Since there is only one bishop of Rome or pope, pontificate is sometimes also referred to describe the reign of a particular pope. It must not be confused with the Holy See, which since ancient times referred to the episcopal see of Rome, while the pontificate in the Vatican City is the type of government used there and is neither a kingdom nor a republic. Pontificate. So it's a pointless. It is therefore pointless to pontificate whether a Chinese race will continue to be peaceful. Pontificate. But let's go back and see what I think is correct. Let's look up the word one more time so that we could be completely knowledgeable about the word. Express one's opinions in a way considered annoyingly pompous and dogmatic. He was pontificating about art and history. Annoyingly pompous, dogmatic. So that's not a good word, right? To speak or express opinions in a pompous or dogmatic way. Pontificate. Well, that's it. Have a great Thursday. Bye-bye.